Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to, I would say, I always want to say Action Bros Gaming, but this isn't really a gaming channel.
Yeah.
We
We should really change the name of this channel.
welcome to Action Bros, where
Yeah.
in this episode of the Junior Critics, we are finally back through some technical difficulties. I just have to bring Riley's ass back over here on the days that we decide to do our Pirates stuff. So here we are. We're talking about good old Pirates of the Caribbean. Fantastic show, or movie rather. We are in the last 45 minutes. I think we have maybe a good episode or two left before we will have capped off this this movie.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, good stuff so far. We are left off where, oh god, what has happened since here? Oh yeah, so they've captured Will. They're going to use his blood, obviously, to make this Oh god, what am I?
They're gonna make this potion.
They're gonna make. Part of me want to say Veritas Serum. I'm like, what? I'm mixing up my franchises.
They're
here.
making the elixir of life using Will's blood.
I'm just so on the high of talking
They will
about
achieve
Velma.
immortality.
Yeah. So they've taken so they can get the blood, so that way they can no longer be death people, undead
Yeah.
zombies, skeleton creatures, so they can't be cursed.
Yeah. They're gonna break the curse with Will's blood. They marooned Jack back on the same island, which
He escaped from again.
yeah, that dude makes a career out of doing the impossible. I
Yeah,
guess.
right. that'll be a fun setup for later. And Elizabeth brings up a good point here, where she's like, "Yo, I'm glad you guys came to save us and all, but what about Will? You know, the guy that like stole Jack from you guys to come save me, because that's what Will did.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean,
Will is technically an outlaw still.
he did say he'd give his life for her." You know, that was a setup earlier on.
Yeah.
He was like, "I'd die for her," and Jack was like, "Oh, good." So in the way, this kind of works well for Jack. He gets the girl and he gets to sail off.
Yeah.
But they look at him and he's like, the boy's fate is regret. I like that. The boy's fate is regrettable. He's like, "I'm sorry, but he's gonna have to die."
Your friend's gonna have to die, and you're gonna have to find a new bitch boy to, crush on, I guess.
Exactly. Let me do some fixing. I think it's better if it's right here. But it was his decision to engage in piracy. And she's like, "Yo, that's not entirely... He did this to save my life. My life is saved. Maybe you should save him."
Yeah.
You know, because he did this heroic act.
Right.
Which I think values some merit. And Jack comes in. And I like how in this situation he tries to use his cunning. His swindle ability. His way to play on people, essentially.
He's a
And so,
scoundrel.
he is very much a scoundrel. So he comes in, he's like, "If I may be so bold as to interject my professional opinion as a pirate."
He's a pirate.
He's like, "The Pearl was listing after the battle. It's unlikely she'll be able to make a time." And he brings up a good point. He's like, we know Norrington. We know Norrington wants to eliminate all piracy.
Mm-hmm.
Jack is like, "If I have Norrington on my side, trying to take the Pearl." Oh, hey, Jace. Guest
Surprise.
appearance.
Guest star appearance.
I made a drink for you because we're watching Pirates, and pirates must drink.
Yes, thank you.
Me and Riley can share this.
I was quite parched.
And now to drink alcohol. Something that dehydrates you.
Yes.
It happens.
It's mostly juice anyway.
Yeah.
Mango juice, which
Yeah?
is also something that pirates.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Just-
interesting.
they hung around the Caribbean.
Yeah,
tropical
they had
fruits.
to run into it eventually.
Yeah.
I bet you, honestly, pirates would like pineapple on their pizza.
That is a
I-
bold claim, Cotton.
Okay, first of all, I think pirates would just come in their jeans if they just ate pizza.
You know, honestly,
That'd be like,
it's
holy
the greatest thing ever.
Oh my god.
Real.
It has everything. It has protein. It has carbs. It has sauce.
I was like,
And dairy.
what is this immaculate conception that you have brought forth to me?
Have you guys ever thought about frying an egg and then putting part of that on pizza? Hey!
Obviously, they don't like that.
That was a
idea.
visceral reaction to what you just
They
suggested.
did not enjoy that.
Moving on.
I guess so. But yes, I have actually had a pizza with a fried egg.
How is that?
Ooh.
It's really good.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't think
course.
about that until now, and I was like, man, that actually
When I
sounds
went
pretty
to
good.
New
You
York,
gotta do it runny though, because the yolk makes it.
Ooh,
Mhm.
yeah.
when I went to New York, I had like a breakfast pizza.
Mm-hmm.
It was like egg, some sort of like red sauce, which wasn't marinara. It was more like a salsa base.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was like egg and then sausage,
Ooh, like a breakfast
bacon
pizza.
and cheese.
That sounds fantastic.
Oh my god, it was delicious.
So in this situation, Jack is trying to egg on Norrington. He's like, look, I know you hate pirates, and I know you've been trying to capture all the pirates. Think about this. It's the Pearl. It's the greatest pirate ship in the Seven Seas, according to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
He's like, how could you pass this up? And I think he actually says that. He's like, think about it, the Black Pearl, the last real pirate threat in the Caribbean. He's like, how can you pass that up? And then Norrington claps back with his, by remembering that I serve others, not only myself, being trying to be all high mighty and shit, right? So he's like, yeah, look, I could, go after these pirates and take them on, but I am a better man than that.
Like, this is not about pride or
This is about
anything.
principle.
This is about principle and honor.
I think he
And-
just won't do it because it's a good plan from Captain Jack, which he just utterly despises.
He does.
He's like, anything you do, even if it is good, in my eyes, it's going to be bad. Just because he hates him so much.
And so Elizabeth comes out and she goes, I beg you, please do this. Do it for me.
I have
As a
tits.
wedding gift. Boom.
Got him by the
Bombshell.
balls.
Bombshell.
Look
Do-
how
if you won't
he
do
turns
it-
around immediately.
If you won't do it for your career, do it for love.
Mm.
do it for these
And this
nuts.
is after, the 50 Shades read by Gilbert Gottfried that they did.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this is after the fact with Will. She's playing both sides.
She's just like seeing like how she's gonna come up on top on this situation. Very piratey.
Very
yeah.
piratey. She's swindling them. That's
Yes.
for sure.
Honestly, she's
Making-
the best pirate
Making false promises.
in the franchise.
That's why she becomes Pirate Queen.
Pirate Queen.
Still don't know how I feel about that. I'm
By
not.
democratic vote.
I'm not a super fan. Oh yeah, because of fucking. Oh my god, that's
For later, but
that's
yeah.
that's
the
for
first
another
thing
day.
she does is fix the pirate wage gap. She has the affirmative action to make sure there's at least
78 shillings on the dime. That is not at all accurate. I'm so sorry.
78
That's so
78
bad.
shillings on the pence.
Every pirate ship must employ at least 2 female pirates.
Oh, at least 2. Diversity, inclusion, and equity, aka DIE, needs to be implemented.
It's like at least 2 female pirates must be hired upon the ship, and it's just like, so at least 2 people who can slick their lust.
At least, we have to have at least 2 people on the ship aboard, and then, frickin' Alex Jones, pirate over there is like, that's 2 women of bad luck on my ship, mate.
Yeah, it's bad luck to have women on board.
Bad luck I went out too. Is just wait.
I'm Richard Nixon.
Man, fucking, I love the idea of having Gibbs as Alex Jones.
We need to like.
We need
make
to
a
do
meme.
some sort of
We
Photoshop.
gotta do like a Photoshop meme. Just
That'd
put
be-
Alex Jones' face on Gibbs.
That would be fantastic. I tell you, it's bad luck to have a woman on board. You can't have that happen. And 2, hold on. Turn the frogs gay. And he's like, are you accepting common word of
I love how
proposal?
he's so happy. He's like, finally.
He's like, finally, a man of propriety.
I swear, like Elizabeth's dad is more in love with Norrington than anyone else in this movie.
Dude, no joke. Like, that arranged marriage, he basically set it up for them.
He's just
Like,
like
from start to finish, he's like, hey, you like Elizabeth? tell her about how you want to kill pirates. And he's like, hang him by the noose is what I do. And he's like, okay, pull it back a little bit. Jesus.
All right, dude.
Freaking her out. And she's like, I find that fascinating. And he's like, that's concerning.
He's like, oh god, this backfired so hard.
He's like, I created all the problems. And he's like, oh, yep, now there's a pirate coming on shore. Yeah, that, and then, history was made. And she says yes. And I love Jack. He's like, I love weddings. Jinx on my. He's like, I love weddings. We can all get fucked up.
Is it gonna be one of those weddings with an open bar?
And that face explains it, like its expression.
Perfectly.
Oh, that's
Oh my
fantastic.
god! Like she just her clit just rubbed against like the hard part of like the jean zipper, like that thick like buttony fabric part. You know which part I'm talking about, ladies.
Oh,
Definitely.
Oh god.
I love how, like, in this scene, though, in particular, she knows exactly how to play each
She does.
character.
Exactly.
And she tells them exactly what they want to hear in order to...
Based on their character profile.
Yeah.
We know what they want. She
She's
knows what they want, and she offers that
And
in
she's
exchange.
using it to her advantage. Like,
She's
it's such
she is a scheming whore.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I know these movies
Such
are
a pirate.
old, so spoiler alert. She doesn't marry Norrington.
Whoa, really?
It's a fucking game. She played the man.
Whoa.
She got him by the balls.
She
played him
cucked him.
for a fool.
Will cucked the fuck out of this guy.
The
You know what's really funny? She plays him the same way that Jack Sparrow plays him earlier in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Just
guess
to,
so.
to show you how her and Jack are pretty much... And what I really like that about this scene is it shows how similar her and Jack are
So-
Yes.
as far as
And
like,
then how she's
they
grown
are
as
as pirates.
Well, she wasn't always this way. It's how she's grown as a character. She's spent enough time with Jack where she's been able to pick up on some of his traits and some of the things that he can do. It's what's called character development. Velma. No.
Yeah.
Attack a show you've never seen.
Yeah.
But
Fuck that
I've
one
seen-
show in
That's,
particular.
I have seen enough.
that's actually how Will like becomes the man that he is in the later movies. Is that's the only way to break like a beta cuck curse is that you have to cuck another guy. You have to cuck somebody else, and then you pass the curse on.
Oh god, that's a terrible curse.
Yeah.
If I could make one, that would be it.
Curse of the Black Pearl.
Curse of the cuck pearl.
Oh god. And Norrington he looks at Jack like, you did not just talk about like getting crunk at my wedding. Like I would ever
Like you're invited.
like you're fucking invited. And Jack's like, I know, like arrest me, right?
Could you imagine having Jack Sparrow as like your flower girl?
Oh man, at one of the weddings at the R Ranch,
Yeah.
they brought a Jack impersonator.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
like
Oh my
legit.
God.
They legit brought a
You
Jack
should
Sparrow
do that for
impersonator.
your wedding, Jeremy.
Oh, it was fantastic. He was like, I know I get mixed up all the time, but I really am the actual Jack Sparrow. It was fantastic. He actually did a really good job. He was really cool. It was cool to see him work. I didn't actually get to see it in person, but my mom showed me a couple videos of some of him like going around and doing stuff. It was very entertaining, very cool.
That's good.
Well, we got Gillette, and he walks down. You will accompany the men to the helm and provide us a bearing to Isla de Muerta. You will then spend the rest of the voyage contemplating all the meanings of silent as the grave.
Basically, shut the fuck up.
Basically saying, shut the hell up or I'm going to cap your ass.
Yeah.
In millennial, or more like Gen Z terms.
Yeah.
And Jack is like, yep, that's
Back
that sounds
then
all
they
right."
still used
That
the
tracks.
word. Back then they still used the word bussin' though.
Oh, yeah.
My lord, these fries are unequivocally fucking busted.
Oh, God.
What?
Just like this pussy be fucking bonkers.
My lord.
My lord.
This pussy is unequivocally fucking poggers.
By Jove, I tell you that I hear say that this poggers is pussy.
Oh, heavenly me, this cunt is quite immaculate.
The whap on she, I do declare.
Wait, what was the freaking what was the name for the prostitute? What was it called?
Oh,
Sherry with
Queen bitch pussy boss.
No, not that. In the pirate movie.
Oh,
Strumpet.
Strumpet.
Strumpet. That's it.
Strumpet.
Yes. I tell you, The cheeks on this strumpet are quite incalculable.
The wop on this fair maiden, I do declare.
And Norrington's like, do I make myself clear as an obvious threat, saying, if you don't be quiet, I'm going to have you
did.
thrown overboard. And he says, inescapably. I love that. It's such a good line because Jack actually has a decent vocabulary.
Yeah.
And it's shown in this, like, it's not, extremely clear. It's not very clear. It's inescapably. I cannot escape how clear you made this statement.
Right.
I can't get away from
That's
it.
like the only word I would use to go beyond crystal clear.
Right.
Which is cool because in a sense they're kind of arresting him, so in a way it is also inescapable.
Yeah, so there's like that double meaning there. You can really tell he's practicing his bars at the moment.
Oh yeah, he's
With
getting
that
ready.
double
He's getting ready.
entendre.
He's getting ready for a diss track on Norrington.
Oh, I would love that.
Oh my god.
I wonder if epic rap battles have a Jack Sparrow.
Oh,
do.
that'd be interesting. Maybe.
I'll look it up later. I'm sure they got one.
Yeah, that feels like something we should watch.
That feels like something that we should
It's
definitely
Captain Jack Sparrow versus the Flying Dutchman from SpongeBob.
watch. Oh my god, yes, that would be incredible. That'd be fantastic.
Jack
Oh,
Sparrow.
I love it. I love all of it. And they seize him, and then
Oh, what a nice.
yeah,
mop.
I was about to say like,
What is he mopping with? Actual grease?
Yeah, I don't get it. Let me see if I can get a better phrase.
I'm pretty sure they do that to like prime the wood and.
Yeah, look at that. That looks
That's
like
just
tar.
gross. Yeah.
Well,
Which
a
I'm
lot
sure
of
that's
it's
the
not-
point.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. It's like, which, by the way,
Ooh.
this was described in Noah's Ark story of the Bible.
Really?
Hey.
Part of the specifications for building the ark was that Noah had to cover the entire thing in pitch to water seal it.
Oh, yeah.
So that could just be pitch.
That could
It
be.
To water,
probably
yeah,
is.
to water seal everything.
It works because one of the things that I like is that things can have multiple meanings in these pirate movies. Things can have a real sense and a real point of view, and also an artistic point of view. Because for instance,
Right.
this is the Black Pearl. These are supposed to be a rough, dirty, rotten pirates,
Right.
right? So they could be using pitch, but pitch could also be the look, taking it from a kid's perspective. Wow, they are mopping with actual shit. Like that's what they're doing, and like the way it slaps on the ground, and it's like
Yeah, but I mean, also like
sliding around
it
and
gives
shit.
some context to like why pirates are so messy and dirty. Because like, imagine you have to work with that.
Yeah.
You know? There's no way you're going to stay perfectly clean. And that was always something as a kid, watching. I was like, oh, well, that explains why they're so fucking dirty all the time.
No joke at all.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that noise?
That was
I
probably the
don't know.
cat.
Why are you being stupid?
And so the crew, the crew said that well, they're all in prison, obviously. And he's like, you missed a bit, and he goes and slams it on the grate. Which, by the way, no splash.
No.
Like
That's
that is some
thick
thick
water.
stuff.
thick.
Will still somehow beautiful shirt still looks immaculate in
Yeah.
this crap hole, and so he's like, you knew William Turner, and this is when it begins. He's like, oh, Bootstrap Bill, we knew him. Never sat, yeah. And so essentially what he's talking about is essentially, I keep saying that, I'm sorry.
Essentially.
Everybody take a shot every time Jeremy says essentially.
So essentially, he's going to begin talking about the story of what ended up happening with Bootstrap Bill, and now things are going to be a bit more clear on where he's at, what his whereabouts are, and what happened that day.
What essentially happened?
What you could say, you
Yeah.
could argue. I feel like I use essentially like freaking Hidden Experience uses
Yeah.
iconic
Yeah.
at this point.
So essentially, what I like about this scene is the little breadcrumbs that we got essentially
that is
in
essential.
the beginning of the movie, where essentially Jack Sparrow was talking to
Okay, you're laying it on thick,
All
man.
with Will Turner.
These guys now have alcohol poisoning because
Yeah.
of you.
Where he says, yeah, I know your dad. He was a good guy. This scene really placates to that, and like I love how
Placates.
it's very subtle in the beginning. Like
Yes.
Jack mentions
Yeah, he
it,
was,
but
he
he
was more
doesn't
of
go
a
into,
vague character.
like he doesn't go into detail. He's like now he's talking to Brute Bill, and like when he brings it up, he's like, "Hey, it never sat well what we did to Jack." And I'm like, you can see now why Jack.
And
saw
also,
him as such
like,
a good person.
with the beginning, whenever you look at Bootstrap Bill, Jack is like, I knew him.
Mm.
He didn't say where.
Yeah,
He could
or
have
how.
he could have just been a pirate getting crunk on Tortuga.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he's actually one of the quintessential characters that caused the curse to not be broken.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
he's a big deal because he's a principled man.
Yeah.
And so what they're talking about is the situation with the mutiny. He's like, look, the thing that they did with Jack when marooning him on the island, that's not right. That was
It didn't sit well.
It didn't sit with him with the mutiny and all. That's all I'm saying. You know. And so he said it wasn't right with the code, which, you know, I'm not sure what part of the code they're referencing.
That's the thing about that's the thing about the pirate code is that you see it in a later movie, but they have like a fucking like 3
They have a
textbooks.
giant tome.
It's huge.
Like, you thought the Bible was big?
I'm just like, there's no fucking way you can fill an entire book that size with rules about piracy.
Yeah, I was
Right.
about to say, you know,
Yeah.
are you gonna? I was about to say with the with How I Met Your Mother.
The rule book.
Yeah,
Bro
the
code.
bro code
I have
actually
that
exists.
book.
You have it?
I have it.
I always wanted it, but it's a bro code. And honestly, it's a little pamphlet.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a super dense book.
Like,
It's
dude,
pretty
like-
thick. It's
Is
got
it?
it's like 132 pages.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's
No,
got
what
like
size
a
is
lot
it?
of bro codes.
That's
Bro
the thing.
code, like
That's
I
the-
think 64 is like never share.
I'm just
start
saying,
with
like,
another bro.
if you just said it was like, oh yes, this is the pirate code, I would imagine it was like the 10 Commandments or
Right.
something. Just like these are like some loose essential rules that kind of like
And
keep
and
us-
in all honesty, the real I say the real bro code, the pirate code, that's basically what it was. It was a couple of codes that they went with, a couple of principles that they abided to.
The
Mhm.
rules that they mention in this movie, or like that they reference in this movie, I have always thought that those were the only rules.
Right.
yeah.
Like I know later on in movies that they showed like the actual book,
The
and
book,
thing,
yeah.
but I blocked that out just because
Yeah.
in my mind pirates.
Because
Like, why would you have a
Well,
giant rule
they
book
all-
for pirates who don't follow the rules to begin with?
yeah, well, I mean, because whenever you talk about that, the guy shoots you.
Yeah.
Who was that? Was that? Oh God, no, it was some guitar player. I think it was Keith Richards.
Keith Richards.
Keith Richards plays Jack's dad. I think.
Mhm.
I think in this, and he was the guy that had the bro code, or not the bro code.
The
Fuck
pirate
me.
code.
The pirate code. God, I'm so used to saying the bro code. But with the actual pirate code, there wasn't a lot of rules and regulations. But when they open up that book, they're like, yes, in section 5, part C-2, it clearly states like it's some
Turns
legal
out all
document.
pirates are
Yeah.
also lawyers.
Yeah, they're excellent lawyers.
Excellent lawyers.
Dude, you always want Jack Sparrow as your attorney at law.
Yeah.
Jack
Attorney-
Sparrow, attorney at law.
Attorney of
They
pirate
just-
law.
Pirates are just lawyers who couldn't pass the bar exam.
They're self-taught lawyers.
They're like, we couldn't
Really?
pass, so let's just go to piracy.
Truly.
Oh, God.
So it didn't sit right with the code with him, and he's like, that's why he sent off a piece of the treasure with you, which makes sense. He said we deserve to be cursed
Oh yeah,
and remain cursed.
and that they did.
So
Stupid liar.
yeah, that guy's talking about. He's like, he's a stupid man, and then they're all
Good
like,
man.
he's a good man. So you obviously see the two sides of this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the one who's willing to maroon somebody on the island, and then the side who's obviously not willing to.
Although
maroon
they maroon Jack on an island.
you know,
Because, they kept
Small
to the
details.
code,
Mhm.
It's the details that matter, I guess. But, they kept to the code, and it was really sad when they sailed away and abandoned Jack.
come sail away, come sail away.
So,
But as you can
imagine, it didn't sit too well with the captain, obviously, because he's like, yo, you keep coming to my office bitching and moaning about what we did to Jack, and I'm not really happy about it.
Yeah.
So they do something which I don't think Disney realized how how horrifying it is what they did to Bootstrap Bill.
Yeah.
This is a level almost it's almost on the level of actual hell.
Mm-hmm.
It is so horrifying what they did to Bootstrap Bill. So we're going to talk about that. Well, with Captain, tell him what. The guy obviously gets upset. He's like, I'm telling the
I
story.
love the dynamics between
Yeah,
those two.
they're great characters. One of my favorite
written so well.
one of my favorite scenes is I think when the more bald guy is rowing, and the other dude's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't sit right. What they're doing? He's like, and he's trying to talk about like excerpts from the Bible, and he's like,
Yeah,
you can't read. And he's like, it's the Bible. You get credit for
points
trying. it's such a good line. It's so funny. It's like with all the problems that the other pirate movies have, that is just a fantastic line that
That's a great line,
I
yeah.
never forgot that as a kid.
Mhm.
I was like, that is the funniest shit I have ever heard. Like, it's the Bible. You get credit for trying to read something. Oh man. So he continues the story. He's like, so what the captain did, trying to pick up his story, he strapped a cannon to bootstraps, and the other guy giggles about it. Last we saw old Bill Turner, he was sinking into the crushing black oblivion of Davy Jones' locker. Now, Disney, my guy,
Take a chill pill.
you just took a man who cannot die, strapped him to a cannon, and sunk him to the bottom of the ocean with thousands of pounds of pressure crippling on his body. What could have probably crushed, maybe not the cannon, but any normal human. The amount of PSI that is down there under the weight of the water itself.
Yeah, it's just the pressure of the ocean.
Exactly,
Yeah.
just the pressure of the water is enough to kill a man, right? Just at certain levels. But the fact that he keeps sinking and cannot die, he is a powdered dust that is living in eternal pain because he cannot die, essentially. He is forever unliving. Any parts that are broken, you see, they repair. So he is a skeleton constantly in pain. He is living in constant, unbelievable agony.
In Moonlight, and if he's sunk to the bottom of the ocean where there's no...
Sure. He's
literally drowning 24/7.
Exactly.
He can't die.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's beyond miserable.
It is beyond ultimate pain. It is excruciating pain, along with the sensation of not being able to breathe.
Also, if he's strapped to a cannon and he's at the bottom of the ocean, he's going to become crab meat. And,
People are gonna, they're gonna try to eat on him.
That reminds me of that old, who was it? One of the gods or demigods who betrayed Zeus or whatnot, and he strapped him to a boulder, and it had crows feast on him every day. But he would regrow.
Yeah, that was the same god that gave humans fire.
Prometheus.
Yeah.
Prometheus stole fire from gods to lift mankind from sorrow.
Right. So they did that with the whole crow.
That was his punishment. But that, it gives me the same vibes because that's how it would be. But all that, plus being underwater and constantly suffocating. Awful.
It is the worst thing you could. You can't do that. You can't do that with an actual human because actual humans can they would drown before they would ever be crushed by the PSI.
Yeah.
But this man, oh no! Imagine being in a shark cage with a scuba gear, right? So you can breathe essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then the chain in the scuba, a chain in the cage breaks, and you just sink.
Mm-hmm. And you just feel like the canister of oxygen just crush.
Oh,
just
God.
The pressure is destroyed as your bones break.
Your bones are being powderized. Your muscles are being torn off of the bone.
It is horrifying.
Your skull is cracking and then piercing into your brain.
You literally can't think of a fate worse than death at that point.
Yeah, imagine going through that for 10 years.
For 10 years. Fucking years. My God. This man is insane. He couldn't function.
Yeah, he would be inconsolable after that.
Exactly.
There would be nothing.
It's a wonder that he's the way he is in the later movies.
The boredom alone would have driven me insane.
No shit.
Imagine, because that low in sea level, there's no light at all. So
It
he's
is
in the darkness. He's under this crippling pain.
it feels like purgatory of absolute pain. Like you can't.
awful.
It is absolutely awful. It's like, Disney, what are you doing? Like this is.
I mean,
this
it's
is
great though. It's like
it is.
It's so real.
It is the ultimate punishment you could give somebody
Yeah.
in our world as we sit.
Well,
you know?
it just sounds like something pirates would do.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this guy fucked
It's
us
like,
over.
oh, yeah,
so
let's sing-
he can't die, so let's just sink him to the bottom of the ocean.
Not realizing how awful that. Well, probably because they didn't understand the pressure of water.
Here's the thing: is like, did Disney describe this with the intention of like, yeah, once you get older, you'll understand how dark that is, or do you think they just didn't understand how?
I think they just thought it was a good punishment.
I think
for the
yeah, I was about to
storyline.
say it makes sense for the storyline.
And they
Like,
just
how do we
didn't
kill off Davy
consider
Jones?
how
Oh,
the
you know.
power would work, or
Yeah.
how the curse would affect.
I
this.
think that's what went over their head was they're like, okay, we need some way to kill Davy Jones, so we're gonna strap him to a cannon. He's gonna sink down to the bottom of Davy Jones' locker and drown.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the fact that he can't die.
Yeah, I think they forgot that this
They forgot this
punishment
small
doesn't kill him.
detail.
It
Yeah.
just keeps him alive in the worst possible way.
It's so horrifying. It's fantastic.
I love it. Maybe they did know that what they were doing. This was
Maybe.
back when Disney
Maybe.
had style.
Ba-
When they
yeah,
had
exactly.
balls.
When they really had the
Those
cojones.
writers were fantastic back then.
Oh man, yeah. This was some good stuff. It's fantastic. Wait, man. Don't. It's been 3 minutes. We progressed 3 minutes.
All right.
And then he's like, of course it was only that we learned that we needed his blood to lift the curse. That's what you call ironic. It's
They
fantastic.
kill him, and
It's-
then
it's a
they're
good-
like, wait
it's
a
a good-
second, we kind of
So
need it.
it makes sense because like they give you this horrifying tale and then they just cut it with this joke.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Well,
oh,
obviously to them, like, what they did, like, they're pirates, so they have no remorse over what they did. To them, Bootstrap Bill deserved everything, because remember, Bootstrap Bill prevented them from breaking the curse.
right. So
They're
they were
the
living in
little-
constant torment in their
They're
own
living
way.
in constant torment in their own way, and that's the reason why
They
the
just gave
punishment
him
they
something
him-
worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like pirates would do, because pirates are not good people.
Yep.
Seems very piratey.
And so
Then they laugh about it.
they giggle about that.
Like, that's a good joke.
And so obviously now it is time. It is time to do the ritual once and for all. Begun the blood undone.
Blood for the blood god.
I love how he says, I don't care for this situation. Like, he's going along with the plan that he doesn't want to go along with.
He doesn't even like this plan. He's like, any attempt to storm the caves could turn into an ambush.
Yeah.
He's like, this is a bad plan. I don't like doing this at all.
I think it's so funny because for how smart they portray his character, he makes all the stupid decisions.
The only decision that I think that one of the main decisions I think that he made that wasn't stupid, because it's a ballsy move, but I actually respect it because of the brass on this man, was when Jack steals the Inquisitor. I think it's the Inquisitor, right?
The Interceptor.
Interceptor, yes, thank you. And he's like, just get him in range of the long nights. He's like, we're going to sink our own ship, sir. And he goes, I'd rather see you at the bottom of the ocean than in the hands of a pirate. I'm
Yeah.
like, I respect that.
Yeah.
As like ballsy as that is of a maneuver. By the way, your veins are popping. You look great.
Thank you.
But I was like,
I wish we could show it to the camera.
yeah, I was
Do it.
about to say,
Just
I can
up.
see the vein trailing down here and then through here, and I'm like,
Thank you.
man, this man is popping. Anyway, I was like, I respect it.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, you know, he disabled the rudder chain, Jack, so he couldn't use that method. But I did think it was an awesome decision that he was willing to go through with.
His
Yeah.
character is so smart.
He can
And I
be
love-
very smart.
I love his character because he is so smart. I just feel like every time they do, and they do this more in the later movies, but they do this thing where they're like, here's this really smart, intelligent character, but in every single situation, he's the dumbest one. He comes out with like, because just how outlandish the plans are.
It's just like
Like
Yeah,
the plans go against logic, and that somehow they work.
Yeah, I was really upset with the way that they treated Norrington in the last movies, where he just became a drunken fool.
Right.
And I'm like, this man was such a great
he
man.
lost all of his dignity and respect. And
As a kid, even as a kid, I didn't look at him as a bad guy. I just looked at him as a man with a different perspective.
yeah.
Like, he was just a man of order, and I can understand that, respect that.
It's like,
But like, I'm like, y'all guys made him a laughing stock, and that's not okay.
no, it's like that. Red Dead Redemption 2 line that Milton says. He's like, "I like society, Mr. Morgan, flaws and all."
Exactly, yeah. You know, Norrington is a fascinating character. That's the thing that I like about Pirates of the Caribbean, is all these characters
Fascinating.
are interesting. They have good depth. Even Elizabeth, she has
Yeah.
some interesting depth and has some
She's-
moments.
Honestly, Elizabeth is probably one of my favorite characters. Not just because of the tits, but because they write her like a genuine character.
See, like,
so good.
Even though, Jennifer Lawrence might disagree, we can actually relate to feminine characters.
Yeah, honestly, because everyone has a masculine side and a feminine side, and it's just a matter of which one you're.
Although it is Jennifer Lawrence who created Pirates of the Caribbean, she was the beginning of everything.
Oh, right, yeah. She actually created this franchise.
Yes. Without her, we wouldn't be anywhere.
She wrote Terminator 2.
Yes, she wrote Alien,
Alien,
and she starred in Alien.
Yes.
She coached Steven
She was the
Spielberg.
first. She was the first ever female action
Anything.
lead. Yeah,
She was the pink
She was the
Power
first
Ranger.
female. Period.
she was the big Power Ranger. Oh, that's fantastic. So
I know that's a dry meme, but it's funny.
it is. I will milk that meme until the cows go home.
Yeah.
That's great. So, what Norrington ends up saying is any attempt to storm the caves could turn into an ambush, which is true because they're obviously being funneled.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fair argument. And so they're saying
every time he talks, it's so logical, and then he's like, yes,
he's like
these pirates could be doing this, but let's proceed in the way that would allow them to do this.
I also like the way he states the situation. He's like I'm sitting here on a fucking rowboat sailing into battle. This is kind of cringe. And the way he puts it is he's like, I don't quite like this situation. He's like, this might lead into an ambush.
Seems a little sketchy in my.
I love that. I wish they said that line.
What? That this situation seems cringe?
Yeah. They were like, I'm on a rowboat sailing into a almost definite ambush. I don't like this situation at all. It's pretty cringe, actually.
Pretty cringe.
I find this situation rather cringe.
And then Jack says, not if you're the one doing the ambushing. And here's where Jack comes up with his own plan to try and help Norrington, because he's like, I'm on Norrington's side now. Which makes sense because
the enemy of my
enemy.
enemy.
He's like, I want to play Norrington, so that way I can get my ship.
Elizabeth did.
Because he doesn't care about the Black Pearl crew. They betrayed him. He's like, all I give a shit about is just getting the ship back.
Right.
Yeah.
So Jack's like, hear me out. I go in and convince Barbossa, to send out his men with all their little boats, and you and your mates return to the Dauntless and blast them with your little cannons, which is a perfect plan. He's like, what do you have to lose? He's like, he's basically making a play, which is a risky play.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, for one thing, how do you convince them to go out in their boats to assault the Dauntless?
Also, Jack knows that because honestly, Jack knows that he's not in this situation. Neither side is his ally.
Yeah.
So what do? You pin your two enemies against one another.
Exactly.
And he knows that the crew members of the Black Pearl are, they.
Well, this is my thing. Is like, is he creating this plan with the mindset of like, oh yeah, these pirates can't die, so they can't lose.
Exactly.
Or is he thinking, I'm going to break this curse in just enough time to get them out of here?
Well, either way,
While
it's a
they're
win-win.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
they leave, I break the curse, and then they're mortal, and then they die by the Dauntless.
Right.
And then I take the ship. Either way, he wins.
Either way, he either gets rid of the Navy or he gets rid of the pirates.
Right.
And like
Or
either one benefits him.
Or secret option C, he gets a 25 kill streak and sends the tactical nuke
Dude.
and wipes out everybody.
Man, that was one of the best things in Call of Duty.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
absolutely OP, but it was fantastic.
Beautiful.
Literally just ends the game.
Yeah, I'm just gonna end this match.
I'm just gonna put an end on this match. Dude, there was a couple of times in Halo where me and you could have dropped a tactical nuke if they had it available.
That's the thing. It's just like I love like the poetic like message that sends. Where it's like
I am so awesome.
Already won.
Yeah.
we
I-
can end this.
I'm
I've won.
I'm so fantastic. I'm just gonna put an end on this game. Call it here. I'm out. Oh man. So Jack's like, "What do you have to lose?" And Norrington goes, "Nothing I'd lament being rid of." Which is an interesting line. It's interesting for Norrington because he obviously doesn't like Jack, doesn't want to listen to him, doesn't want to listen to his plans. And so Jack is like, "What do you have to lose in this plan?" He says, "Nothing I'd lament being rid of." So he's like, "I would lose maybe you if you die in this fight. I would lose the pirates, which I'm okay with. And I might even lose the Black Pearl, which I don't give a shit about."
Yeah.
He's like, I'm here to kill things and marry a woman, and I'm already marrying the woman, so I'm here to kill things.
Jack, let me give you a little lesson. Killing bitches, owning women.
Yeah.
That's what a leader does.
I like
I
his
just got a
character.
woman.
Yeah.
I like his character so much because the way he talks and his mannerisms.
It's very good.
It's so good, but it like imagine if he was a pirate.
He's an immensely eloquent man.
Like just
and
the way he speaks is so
he's very poetic, very eloquent,
Reminds
very
me-
intelligent with
Yes.
his choice of words.
Reminds
Yes.
me a lot of oh god. Oh, forgive me. Freaking Assassin's Creed 4.
that one guy.
Your friend, the very kind pirate. What the fuck was
Your
his
friend,
name?
right.
The first one you meet.
We talked about him in
The
a previous
the blonde
episode.
fat dude.
Oh
Oh god.
Oh shit.
Steve
Wait.
Bonnet?
Bonnet?
Was that his name?
Steve Bonnet. I think it was Steve Bonnet.
Yeah.
Bon
Steve.
Clay.
Yeah. The it was the something pirate.
The polite pirate?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's bothering me. I need to look it up.
Steve Bon Jovi.
Gentle criminal.
Maybe it was the gentle pirate.
Steve Bonnet.
Bonnet.
Barbadian?
No, that's not it.
He seems like that
Steve
person.
Bonnet. The Gentleman Pirate. That's right.
Ah.
The Gentleman Pirate.
He would be what Norrington was in all actuality.
Yeah.
I don't know. You never played the Assassin's Creed 4 game, but Steve Bonnet is a fantastic character. He's it's cool because like the best way to look at Steve Bonnet is take someone who is not confrontational.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who doesn't want to cause like any sort of issues with anybody, wants to be friends with everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as a pirate.
Yeah.
That is who Steve Bonnet is. He's the gentleman pirate. In fact, that is also why his crew mutinied him and killed him.
He's like,
Well, you know.
we've come to realize something, Captain. You're kind of a pussy.
You're a little bit of a bitch. We can't have a bitch.
You're a bit weak sauce for this crew. But yeah,
Nothing I'd limit.
yeah. I feel like he'd be Steve Bonnet, but a bit more hard. And so Jack is like, he's like, there's still a risk to those aboard the Dauntless, which includes the future Miss Commodore, which is funny that he says that. Because he's like, look, there's still risks to be even here. Like, the future Miss Commodore. I like how he says Miss Commodore because he doesn't know his fucking last name.
Yeah.
Even though it's Norrington.
Norrington. They've only ever referred this guy by his last name.
I don't actually know what his first name is.
Yeah, and I think Jack just thinks Norrington is his first name.
Which is great for character. So he's like Miss Commodore. And then it has this little thing which in our DVD when I was a kid and I'd put in the DVD, it would freeze up and like jitter as she was doing this. So I never actually knew what she was saying. So Cuts here, and she's like, "There's something I have to tell him. The pirates, they're cursed. They can't be killed." And he's like, "Don't worry, miss. He's informed of that." The mermaid flopped up on deck and told him the whole story. Which, by the way, there are mermaids in the future episodes.
They're
future
just
movies,
making
so
fun of her.
They're making fun of her. They're like, he's like, "Look, oh yes, totally. He knows about the cursed pirates. A mermaid showed up and told us the whole story."
He's like, "You dumb bitch! Don't you ever just shut your goddamn mouth?" He's
like,
get
"I'm
inside. Get inside."
What was the line that she says? He's like, I'm a bit too old to believe in ghost stories, miss. And then shuts the door. And then she's like, "It's Jack Sparrow's doing," which is absolutely true.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because he looted.
He's so smug.
How the fuck did he get this boat?
He
Why?
commandeered it.
He's
They
supposed to
no,
send him out.
yeah,
He
they
commandeered it.
they sailed back, right?
I think so.
They went
to
back
the-
to the Dauntless. They went with his plan because he was like, "You give me a boat, I go in. I convince them to go out with their little boats."
Well, no, not all of them are out there, but they still sent Jack out there because they're still sitting on the boats. I know that. I remember that. They're still sitting
Right.
in the kayak canoe, whatever. They're still sitting in the little boats. But they do send Jack out to go and talk to them, which I think is funny because he's like, what do I have to lose? Just send him out and go do his thing. And I like how, of course, Barbossa has his apple because he fucking loves apples.
He cannot wait to bite this apple.
He just loved poison apples.
which is great.
the original sin.
I mean, if you
Biting
can't
an
die,
apple.
Greed.
why not eat all of your food
Which is,
poison?
I don't think we've touched on this as a wait before you say what you said because I wasn't listening and I want to know what you said. But to get to Riley's point, it's a cool idea. The fact that the thing that consumed them was greed, and his representation of that he wants more than anything is to taste the apple.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is bringing back to the Bible with the idea of greed, because Eve was a bit greedy when she took the one fruit that she couldn't take.
Also, Disney has a long-standing history of representing evil in their movie by the color green.
Really? Well, that makes sense. I think I remember.
Yes, the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yep.
She-Hulk.
Be prepared with Lion King. Scar
Yes,
is all
yes,
that
yes.
The green eyes.
Ursula with the green smoke in the background.
What is it? Maleficent?
Maleficent.
I think it has something to do with poison is typically represented with green,
Yes.
snake venom.
Which, funny enough, green is probably one of my favorite colors at this point.
I don't know why, but Disney chose it as their evil color.
It
so.
makes-
there's a lot. I think there is
I think it works.
I think it works because there may be a deep-seated sort of
Plus, who knows? Maybe the apple of Eden was green.
Maybe.
It might have been a Granny Smith.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
the thing
Granny
is-
Smith is red.
Well, the thing is
Well, there's Granny Smiths that are green too.
Yeah, the
Well,
sour
But,
apple.
usually Granny Smiths are
Well,
red.
the thing is, I don't know if there is a translation of the Bible, but it's never explicitly called the apple. It's just called.
That's true.
It's
It's the
called the
fruit.
fruit.
And then I think somebody else came up with the illustration.
Boom.
Yeah, it's just
Granny
Granny Smiths
Smith.
are green. I also think it's because of Granny
Which one
Smiths
are the
that
red ones?
Those
that's fucking
that's
thousands.
like all of them.
That's almost every apple.
my favorite personally is his Honeycrisp.
Good choice.
Nice.
Hey, you actually kind of transitioned pretty well.
Yeah, that was
No,
actually really
it's
smooth.
actually very comfortable here.
Here, Riley, help him because I can't.
Don't worry. I'll just.
So-
I'm also on a rolling chair. He just pulled me.
Y'all do the thing. So they say a prick of a finger, just a few drops of blood. Just a little something small. And no, he's like, no need to fret. It's just gonna be a few drops of blood, just a prick of your finger. Just like you're getting your blood test. As if you get diabetes or some shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, no mistakes this time. He's only half Turner. He's like, we'll spit it all. And he's like, I guess there is a reason to fret, which is funny. They're obviously deviants, terrible human beings. And then the music swells, and again, the same music. Begun the blood undone. It's very funny. I love this dude because of what comes up. It's fantastic. And he's trying to do his whole ritual. He's getting amped up for a third time, right?
Oh.
He's like, we cursed we were, Begone the blood undone.
He had to rewrite a whole speech because he
Yeah,
used his best
so
one
many
earlier.
times.
Yeah.
Begun by blood undone.
And he gets ruined again. He's like,
Are you kidding me?
He's like, you've got to be joking. And like every D&D DM,
yeah.
because this meme has been used so many times, the DM goes, it's not possible. And the character goes, not probable.
Anytime you make something like a D20,
Yeah.
and they roll natural
Anytime
20.
you nat 20, not possible.
It's
not
probable.
probable.
It's the most fantastic meme. One of my favorites. So, out of all of this shit, he's like, I marooned you on this island for a second time, and you still fucking made it back. How? How does this keep happening? He's like, I must be doing something wrong. Maybe it's the island. Maybe I need to ship him off to, a different island.
You know what? Perhaps not the brightest idea to send him to the same island that he escaped from the first time.
And I like how even Jack is admitting to it. Because he's like, Barbossa's like, it's not possible. And he's like, well, not probable. And he's like, look, I honestly didn't think I was going to make it off a second time. But, here I
Honestly,
am.
It's a miracle that he made it off
The
both
first
times.
time. Yeah.
Like,
That's why it's not probable.
It's not probable.
Sometimes miracles strike twice.
honestly, he probably should have chose a less frequented island.
They admit that this is a bit of a contrivance. It's like, it's not possible. He's like, yeah, I'll admit it's a bit contrived.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, he got lucky the first time. The second time was actually just good planning on Elizabeth's part.
Yeah.
She's like, the whole Navy is looking for me. I'll just make a smoke snack and they'll find me.
Yeah. He's like, I guess it's a good thing that Barbossa abandoned her on the island with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would have just drank himself for 3 days and then died of
Yeah,
dehydration.
just died.
Could you imagine if they both got marooned on a different island?
Jesus. Lord knows. He's like, where's Elizabeth? And he's like,
Not
she's
important.
safe, just like I promised. She's sent to Mary Norrington, just like she promised, and you get to die for her, just like you promised. Like he said way earlier on. Which is a
So
good...
we're all men of our words, really.
Yeah, so we're all men of our word, really.
I love that because he says that after the entire movie of every single one of these characters lying to not only each other, but also everyone else. They're like, yeah we all keep our words. We're all trustworthy.
Except for Elizabeth, who is in fact a woman. Which is a wonderful line that he delivers. And then at this point, Barbossa's just like, shut up.
Just shut the fuck up. I'm so tired of your shit, dude.
He's like, you're next. And so they go do that. And then here's the good point. This is, again, same thing as before, which is why I love Barbossa's acting. I can't remember his actual name, forgive me. But before, when they're like, oh, we all remember Jack Sparrow, kill him. And Jack immediately goes, that, the girl's blood didn't work, did it?
Right.
And he knew. He's like, I have a piece of leverage. He's like, you know whose blood we need. He's like, I know whose blood you need. And this part does the same shit in the same fucking place. He's like, you don't want to be doing that, mate. And it's so great. Same thing. And Barbossa's like, no, I think I do. But at the same time, Jack's like, your funeral. Same thing as before.
Yeah.
Same situation. And he's just like, fuck me.
He's just like, every time this happens, Jack
time.
knows something that I don't.
He had
This
something.
This is why I think Jack hates the Navy more than he hates Barbossa. Because he could have kept his mouth closed and let everything happen. And, he probably could have ended up letting them all go to their deaths after Will's dead.
Yeah.
And then him taking the Black Pearl and getting out.
Right.
But the fact that he doesn't, and he goes in there with the intent to save Will, it also placates to Jack's moral compass.
Right.
Which I think is something that I wish they would have explored more.
Yeah, because in this scene, it's like, people don't realize it on first viewing, but Jack is saving Will's life in this scene.
He could have chosen not to.
He could have let Will get his throat just
absolutely.
nicked and just gone.
That's really what they nail in the first movie that they never quite capture later on is that the entire movie, you don't know if Jack is your ally or the enemy.
Yeah, Jack is a genius.
Like, you don't know if he's the bad guy or the good guy.
You really don't.
One thing I will say is that I don't think Jack is saving Will's life for Will's sake. I think
No.
he's doing it out of friendship for Bill.
Yeah.
Bootstrap Bill. He's
That
just
that
like-
would make sense.
He's like, you know what?
It's not entirely expressed. A lot of kids growing up will think that he's doing it because he doesn't want Will to die.
Yeah.
But the main reason why he doesn't want Will to die is because he believed Bootstrap Bill in the things that Bootstrap Bill stood for.
Well, I think Bootstrap Bill and what Bootstrap did for Jack, you know, he's just paying him back out of respect.
He's
Because
like-
really, up to this point, you know, Jack and Will,
They've been using each other.
I don't really think they
They haven't
on
been the
good
best friends.
terms at
No.
any
Mhm.
point in this movie.
Yeah. I mean,
somehow.
ever since Jack, released Will Turner's phone call, like they've been having issues.
They've been having a lot.
Will
of
gave
issues.
Jack a really shit contract,
Yeah.
and they just weren't having it.
But like, I think that's why. But he does it more for the respect of, you know, which is
Respect for the little guy.
Yeah, respect for principle, really.
and it really shows like his moral compass, in a way that you wouldn't traditionally see in like
Yeah.
storytelling. It's so subtle that
It is.
if you're not really paying attention to the movie and the plot, you would miss. Which
Yeah.
I feel like is something as a whole we're missing nowadays in our movies. Like nowadays,
Subtext.
like
right.
if I wanted to go and
Subtext,
watch
yeah.
a movie nowadays, I could go to the theater, watch the movie, and also be on my phone and still feel like I'm catching the plot.
Right.
Like,
Mhm.
and that's just the thing is like back like I would say 3, 4, 5 years ago, you know, you had to sit and actually engage and watch the movie in order to understand plot points,
Right.
different setups and payoffs.
Yeah. You had to pay close attention to movies back then.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
it's like, do you guys think Marvel Studios will ever shut down?
No.
Because they just
No.
keep.
No.
I think what's gonna happen, or what should happen rather, is I think Marvel should take make one Avengers-ish movie, whatever the fucking Avengers are now, right?
Yeah.
End all be all, boom, happy ever after.
Yeah.
Take a 5 to 10 year break, reboot the franchise.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best. New MCU, new everything.
Mm.
Just be like, start fresh.
Kind of
clean
like what
slate.
they're doing with DC right now.
That's what I think. Although,
Except
They're-
DC's doing it all the wrong ways.
yeah, except they're keeping Ezra Miller and canning Henry Cavill because they're smart.
They're like, hey, we want to go with a younger Superman, so let's take.
But let's
really,
but
really,
let's
you want to go
keep-
with a younger Superman?
Yeah.
Why don't you just have Henry Cavill play a younger Superman? It's almost like he's an actor or something.
Yeah, it's like we want to go with a younger Superman, but we're gonna keep the child groomer of Ezra Miller. That's fine. Not to be fair, the only reason why I think they're doing that is so that that way they can do the Flash movie,
Yeah.
and then they'll can him right after the Flash movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably just don't wanna
You
reshoot
don't
the
know.
Flash movie.
It is so important that we keep the guy who has 2 cocktails and wants to fight a cop.
yeah. But I really don't think that they're open to doing more stuff with Ezra Miller. I think what it is they're just trying to save face until his movie releases, and then they're gonna can him
They
like a week or so
probably
afterwards.
Are caught in like some kind of legality with the
Probably,
contract.
probably.
Like
I'm
they,
sure.
like
Well,
he
I
has
mean,
to do this movie.
I'm sorry, but Warner Brothers is scummy with the way that they treated Henry. Like
Mm-hmm.
they were like, "Oh yeah, go ahead, re-announce your return." As a cameo for Black Adam. It's like they didn't tell him that, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, re-announce your return." Henry Cavill comes back, he's like, "I'm coming back as Superman." Everybody's up in arms. Black Adam comes out, everybody's like, "Oh my God, Henry Cavill is back as
well,
Superman."
The Rock.
And then
really,
they canned him.
Yeah, The Rock really wanted to, because he's been funding and like helming this Black Adam movie for a decade.
A while,
now.
yeah.
And like this has
He's
been
been-
his
he's been-
personal
yeah.
project.
This is like Ryan
And, like-
Reynolds Deadpool, where he's
Yeah.
like, I've wanted to play this character
Yeah.
for so long.
And this was his hopes and dreams to start like launch
Except
like
Ryan Reynolds
his
was better.
Yeah.
like version of the universe.
Love
And he
Ryan.
wanted Henry Cavill to come back.
Yeah.
But when Black Adam didn't do well at the box office, they came back and canned both ideas.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's just
dude.
it's a shame because Henry Cavill is you know against Warner Brother and against DC. Henry Cavill is both the Superman we want and the Superman we deserve.
Yeah.
Superman we need.
Look,
You know,
I
He's
mean,
good.
we can all
he's the
just, like-
hero. He's the hero we deserve and the hero we need.
We can all just take solace and wait with bated breath, knowing that the Warhammer 40K series
Yes.
is going to be a hit.
Yes, I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch all of it. I will pay
yeah.
whatever I need to watch and support Henry Cavill because,
Yeah.
like, honestly, he should be a movie star. Why is? Here's the thing that bugs me. Why is Pedro Pascal getting more roles than Henry Cavill? I don't understand.
Dude, okay, so like there are like a list of like actors that I'm so fucking sick of seeing. Chris Pratt, dude, stop giving him work. He does not need to be in everything.
No, he doesn't.
Pedro
Tom
Pascal, he does not need to be in everything.
No. I actually, you know, and it might be controversial, especially with The Last of Us show being somewhat decent, actually, because I watched the first episode and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's good.
However, like I said, might be controversial. I do actually, and it's probably a bias of mine, but I do think Henry Cavill could have made a better Joel than Pedro Pascal.
I mean, I'm not saying
It's a stretch, I know, but I think
Here's the
he
thing.
would have done a better
I'm
job.
not saying that like these movies or shows suffer because
No.
Pedro Pascal is
No.
being casted. He's a fine actor.
He is. He does a good job.
I'm just tired of seeing him in so much shit.
Exactly.
I was like, I want to see like another actor. It's like it's really starting to feel like there's like 10 actors in
Yes.
all of Hollywood at this point.
Honestly,
You have Chris
honestly.
Pratt,
There's so
Kevin
much
Hart,
talent.
The Rock, and Pedro Pascal, and that's it. You have like 4 actors.
If you jump back like 20 years though, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, like there's
Yeah, there was
there's-
Brad Pitt.
You know,
There's
and not only that,
things-
but the one that's been bothering me recently too is Tom Holland. I've been seeing because because Tom Holland was in Uncharted and he did not need to be in Uncharted.
He did not need to be in
He's a good actor. I really like Tom Holland. Tom Holland, you're a great actor, fantastic. Don't need to be Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
That should have been for Nathan Fillion, but they waited too long and now he's 50, so they couldn't make Nathan Fillion do the role.
Actually, they were going to have Mark Wahlberg as Nathan.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the thing
That's
is
what I
that
read.
when they tried to make that movie happen, that was 10 years ago. And then Mark Wahlberg just aged out of the role, so they gave him the role as the older guy.
That's crazy because when I was told that 10 years ago, even Nathan Fillion was up for that role.
I'm sure there were a ton
But
of actors
so
up
it would
for
have been
that
Nathan
role.
Fillion or Mark Wahlberg because Nathan Fillion would have been perfect because
Yeah, he looks like the
he
guy.
looks like the guy. He has the same kind of, comedy aspect as the guy. He would have fit the role perfectly, and he's a fucking adult.
This episode was about pirates, by the way.
Yes.
In
Sorry.
case- in
Sorry.
case
We
you-
got on a
In
tangent.
case you forgot.
But I mean, it's what we do here at Action Bros. We get off on tangents. We talk about what we want to talk about.
Yeah, just a room full of like ADHD autism
the face you
boys.
make when you see the same 10 actors in every movie.
Oh my God,
The
that's
face-
exa-
the
that's
face-
the face.
the-
Chris is like, coming this summer, starting Chris Pratt. That's me right there. I'm
Starring
just like,
Chris Pratt, Tom Holland, and Pedro Pascal.
guest starring Kevin Hart. I'm just like, oh my God.
Featuring Dwayne Johnson.
It's like they need to make like
That would be just
The-
called movie.
they need to make like the most generic movie with those 5 actors: Pedro Pascal, Kevin Hart,
Dwayne
Johnson, obviously,
And Tom
you
Holland.
need to have Tom Holland in there.
It's the new Fast and Furious
Yeah.
movie.
Chris, the new Fast. That's it right there.
Fast X, Fast 10.
Just get rid of Vin Diesel entirely, like they did with. Like they did.
Yeah, it's just this is just the fucking the face you make when Action Bros gets
Yeah.
off on a tangent.
It was like I like the part where they talked about like MCU for a long time.
yeah, really, that's our favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
So Barbosa obviously is like, this is the
You
same
can see
situation.
though, like he rolls his eyes. Like at first he's not going to give in.
Yeah, he's like, I'm
but
committed.
then he's like, he knows Jack,
He
so
knows
he knows
it.
that Jack wouldn't say something unless he had a reason to, and that's why he rolls his eyes. He's like, I have to play his game.
Yep,
or I'm not gonna know something.
well, like, I think you put it perfectly earlier. He knows something that I don't.
Yeah.
He's like, he has information that is vital to me for some reason.
Yeah.
Every time.
Especially
this
since I'm
happens.
about to make myself not invulnerable. And so he's like, why don't I want to be doing it? And Jack goes, oh, because. And it's funny
Like,
because
I'm so glad you asked.
yeah. He's like, because the HMS Dauntless, pride of the Royal Navy, is floating just offshore. You know.
I love how Jack uses his honesty. Like he uses the truth
Yeah.
to lie through every situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a brilliant.
He's an incredible liar because he doesn't lie.
It's not
Same from the very beginning when they're like, you know, what's your business? He's like, I confess, you know, my goal was to basically just rummage around, steal a ship, and then head off to Tortuga and
Yeah,
capture a crew.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like real life is stranger than fiction sometimes. So it's like, I'm going to tell you the truth, but it's so ridiculous that you're not going to believe it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, I'm
He's
not
so
telling-
good at doing that too.
He's like, I'm not lying. It's an omission of facts.
Yep.
yeah.
And Barbossa is like, oh shit. And everyone's like, crap.
God.
These bad guys are looking out for us. They're trying to kill us. And they're still in the boats. So they let Jack go on his own. And he's wondering what they're doing here. He's like, pirate. He's like, so what's the plan? What is happening?
He's
And
literally
completely
supposed
clueless.
to represent the audience. He
Yes.
hasn't been paying attention for like the
Exactly.
last 30 minutes.
Exactly. So they try to make it simple. He's like, the pirates come out unprepared and unawares. He's like, we catch them in the crossfire and send them down to see old Hub. And so he's like, I get that much. The audience is like, I understand, but why aren't we doing what Mr. Sparrow said we should do with the cannons and all? And then Norrington says it's because it was Mr. Sparrow who said it, saying, I mean, of course, you know, going back to the very beginning, Norrington has a sense of propriety.
Is that the new Big Dick Energy?
Essentially-
Sense of
A sense of
propriety.
propriety.
Okay, look, if you gotta watch Pirates of the Caribbean Accidentally Genius.
Genius.
Because they make
Yep.
a meme out of that, and I can't
Yeah.
help but use it all the time now.
Propriety.
It's like, oh yes, a sense of propriety.
We're going to coin that. We're going to make it a meme.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Get Big Dick Energy. So 2019. It's all about sense of propriety now.
What? I gotta at least reference the channel that created
I don't
that
know.
meme.
He's genius though.
Let's see.
He made such a good video. Honestly, it's one of my favorite videos.
Oh, it's a
on YouTube.
fantastic video. If you haven't seen it, Pirates of the Caribbean Accidentally Genius. Let's see.
Who is
See,
Steven? Absent?
Steve. Yeah. That's a weird way to spell Steven. Steven Krosex.
It's probably Stefan.
Probably Stefan. I thought it was.
Stefan Krosex.
Go ahead and jump over to Chrome. So right here, this web or not website. What the fuck am I saying?
Video?
Yeah, this video right here. Pirates of the
So
Caribbean
good.
Accidentally Genius. Fantastic video. Gotta
Highly
watch
recommend.
it.
Watch it after
Highly
you watch
recommend.
this podcast.
Yes,
And under
it's
an
great.
hour.
And
which
under
is
an hour.
Much less time than this podcast.
Oh yes.
Definitely. If you can sit through this podcast, you can. I like how in the corner it's just laboratory test freaks horsepower.
You know.
This guy, Eric.
We aren't going to elaborate on that.
No.
No need.
No need. Y'all guys, if y'all guys know who that
If you
YouTuber
think that's
is.
interesting, you should see what his porn looks like.
Oh my god. See,
I
so
didn't expect it to be so empty.
what are you, a Mormon?
Like, ugh.
So yeah, of course it's a sense of propriety. It's like, look, he's below me.
I love
I'm not
how much
gonna-
he hates on Jack.
He's like, I'm not gonna follow
I mean, it makes
Jack
sense.
because
It
it's
makes
Jack.
sense.
Essentially,
Okay, that's the thing. It makes sense. I get Norrington. It's
Yeah.
like, why would I trust or even believe?
why would I trust a pirate?
Why would I entertain the thought of doing what a pirate tells me?
Yeah. honestly, he's smart.
Yeah.
And like
Truly.
it shows his hatred towards Jack is it's like you see it and you're like, oh, it's so surface level hate. Like he just hates him because he's a pirate and things like that. But then you go back and you look at every single step that happens in the movie and you realize he was justified for feeling that way because Jack goes and does exactly what he says.
Like I said, so I've said this before in an earlier episode, but I would like to see them like sort of do like prequel movies of Pirates of the Caribbean where they
Yes.
show Norrington's life.
Yeah.
I think they can
And
make
they,
that
like,
work.
They give Norrington an origin story, and they cast Tom Holland.
Oh God!
I would love to see like Norrington
Because
and
it's
Jack's,
Mr.
like,
Sparrow who
first-
said it.
Yeah, like their first.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Because you know this grudge that runs so deep, all spurred from one interaction.
One
Like,
interaction.
their first interaction, Jack probably fucked him over so bad that he made it a personality trait to hate him.
Makes
That's the
sense.
thing is like, because Norrington met Jack for the first time during this movie.
As far as we know,
as
yes.
far as we know, because he was just like, "You are by far
Because
the worst pirate
because
that
he
I've
only recognizes him by the tattoo.
Right.
Yeah, he's just like
He's
Captain-
like, yeah, you look like a
Yep,
pirate. Let
you're a
me
pirate."
check pirate. He's like, okay, what is there anything else? He's like, okay, you maybe he had some sort of assumption. Maybe he looked like any sort of wanted poster, but he flips up the sleeve a little bit more, and he's like, ah, yes, the crow sailing or crow flying,
Sparrow.
yeah, Sparrow flying over the ocean. Yes, it's Jack Sparrow.
Only a dirty scoundrel would open his leather coat and have his midriff bare open.
Yeah, Jeremy, what the fuck?
That was more Norrington's thought, but yeah, I would like to see Norrington have an origin story that sort of explains his life,
Yeah, why he has
And
Why
Uh,
he hates pirates so much?
and of course have Tom Holland be like
We
a
need
short drop and a sudden stop.
oh my god.
we need the anime flashback that gives us all the context.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that'd be fantastic. Starts playing the Naruto music. And so Jack's
Just
like,
hear me out.
just hear me out. Order your men to go row out to the Dauntless, do what they do best. And I was like, yeah, we're going to kill them. Robert, your uncle, French, and you are with 2 ships, makings of your very own fleet. Which, honestly, not a bad idea
Yeah, he's like
from
dude,
Jack's point of view.
I love how Jack, he goes into this, like, knowing what the problem is. He's like, hey, he tells Norrington, like, exactly what he needs to do in order to beat, Captain Barbossa and his army. And then he turns right around and goes, hey, this is what they're going to do to defeat you. This is how you're going to defeat them. He really is the perfect example of like that middleman who just double crosses everybody.
Yeah, he does so much double crossing in this.
It's
in this movie.
amazing.
It's funny because they
beautiful.
they have a line in the movie where they're like, which side is Jack actually on? And then Will goes, at the moment.
a double cross squared.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's like, you'll take the, because he obviously was playing Norrington while he's in the pocket of Norrington. Now he's playing to Barbossa. He's like, you'll take the grandest ship as your flagship, and who's to argue? He's like, but what of the Pearl? Which is smart because Jack, he's like, look at the HMS Dauntless. It has so many cannons, so much gunpowder. It's sails are made with silk. Like it's a beautiful ship. It is known as the Royal Navy's pride and whatever.
Its pussy is boggers.
It's absolute poggers that
The
ship.
HMS bitch queen pussy boss.
He's like, oh, but what about the Pearl? He's like, name me captain and I'll sail under your colors. Basically saying,
Again,
give me the ship
just
that I
give
want.
me my fucking ship back.
Give me my ship back and I'll sail under the ship.
Un-
And I'll sail under the
in
ship.
every circumstance, in every sort of like convoluted plan that Jack Sparrow's, it always ends with him just having his ship back.
Yep. Man's got a goal. He's like, name me captain. I'll sail under your colors. Give you 10% of me plunder, and you get to introduce yourself as Commodore Barbossa, which I think is funny because it's just a play on the rank increase that Norrington got.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I've been hearing Commodore around. That's a pretty big word. What if you became Commodore Barbossa?
I like to think that this is the first time that Jack has ever like heard of Commodore.
Yes,
like was the other day when
absolutely.
he's like, oh, that's a new title.
that's
What is that?
What's a Commodore? What, he looks fancy, and he's a captain of a ship.
You can't.
so.
Turns out you can't be a Commodore as a pirate. That's something that only the Navy is.
I was like,
like
Commodore.
you could be a Commodore, which is funny because later on I think he does become.
He does like. I think
He serves the Navy.
He does serve the
but
Navy.
I don't know if
some-
he's a Commodore when
I don't
he.
remember.
I don't know, but he, I
But
know
that would be
That
really
would be
funny.
really
he joins
funny.
the Navy somehow. But basically, he's like, Commodore. That's one more syllable than captain.
And you know, it seems kind of fancy. He's like, I like it. So he's like, introduce yourself as Commodore Barbosa.
But
And
here
then-
he's playing to.
to
you know, his
Barbossa's.
ego.
Yeah, exactly. And what's his face? Barbossa says, in exchange, you want me to kill the whelp, and this is the big moment. Okay, so let's look at the area that they're at right now. Where are they discussing this? They're discussing this right in the cave, right over this pot of gold, right? Essentially. And so or Jack is saying rather, go ahead, kill the whelp. I don't give a shit. Do it. Do what you want.
He betrayed me. After all,
He betrayed me.
Yeah, for real.
He's like,
I love how Will's like, oh,
Will,
we're
yeah,
not
Will
friends.
was like, oh, he wants me dead, and he goes, but not just yet. And he's like, wait until lift the curse, and then he looks at Will and says, until the opportune moment,
It's really good.
which is something he said this whole time. He's like, Will, listen, wait for the proper moment before you do something stupid. He's like, don't do anything stupid. Just wait, and when the moment shows up, and you know it when it shows up, wait until then, and then do what you've got to do.
It's this line that he lets Will know that
It-
he's
it's the
there
hint.
for him.
Yeah, exactly. It's the
play.
hint.
He
He's
makes the move.
He's like, I came here to save your ass.
Right.
Wait for the right moment.
It's funny because like through all the deception that we saw on the scene before, when he's convincing and deceiving.
This is the one true
Commodore,
thing, Jack.
and like and in this scene where he's doing the same thing to Barbossa, it's this one line and this small little hint where like as an audience, as Will, this is Jack being honest about his intentions for the first time.
It's funny because he's kind of lying in a sense to Barbossa. He's like, oh yes, wait for the opportune moment. He's not being he's being disingenuous with Barbossa, not thinking that this plan would work at all. He's completely. It's funny because the one time he's bold-faced lying to somebody, he's actually telling the truth just to someone else.
Yeah.
And it is a creative way, and I love it. And I'll come
It's
back to it.
It's a fantastic scene.
It's how I love it so much because it really showcased what I said earlier about how Jack uses the truth to lie.
He's such a smart character.
And
And
it's
the one-
crazy because
and-
they don't ever use this tactic
Yeah.
again in any of the other
Yeah.
movies. This movie is the
It's-
only one
it's-
that showcases like his brilliance to use the truth in a lying manner to deceive other people.
It's so smart because it's cool too. Just as an idea, it's like this man has used the truth to lie in almost every situation,
Mhm.
except for this one where he uses, a lie to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a complete flip, And then he looks at Will, and Will, of course, is actually smart enough to catch on to this. And he's like,
Yep, that
wait,
little blink, that
wait
little
a
blink.
minute, wait a minute.
I love the and
It's so
also
subtle.
The cinematography. Just give a nod to them for being
Oh,
able,
absolutely.
like, obviously to showcase Jack and Will and to communicate that, because the dialogue itself, because it is so misleading and it is a lie, it now falls upon the DP to
Yes.
find the right camera angles to convey which parts of this conversation are truth and whatnot, and having Will react the way he did, I think as a director was a brilliant move to
Yeah.
capture that, so that it shows
Will's learning. He's learning.
He's picking up.
Mhm.
He's learning how to be a pirate.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's great.
And he plays into it too, which just solidifies everything.
Mhm.
And because Barbossa is he's looking at this exchange like these guys have known each other for a while. How is Will going to react to what Jack
Yeah.
Sparrow just said? Because it's a complete betrayal. And even Barbossa's eyes, he's smart enough to see this. They've sailed for a while to come and get me, and now Jack is betraying Will, which normally, Jack has had a thing about betrayals. He's like, so is this honest? Is this legit? So he's studying, and here's the big
This
one.
is the best
Yes, I
scene.
love this. And still,
Love this scene.
he
This is
played-
probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie.
he plays with the set, and Jack goes, for instance, picks up a couple of coins, right? He's like, after you kill Norrington's men, every bam, last bam, one, bam, just shut, just to add emphasis on what he's referring to, because he's trying to use the set, or in Jack's perspective, he's trying to use the set to like enhance what he's trying to say, right?
Mhm.
He's trying to be like, after every bam, the coin that's caused all this problem, last bam, another coin, one bam, he's like, kill all these guys, make it all work, and then come back and get rid of this curse, right?
Yeah.
It's a form of distraction.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's distracting him.
Well, he's also saying
Sleight
how
of hand.
like this plan that he has, it only works if you have the curse. Because right now he's trying to convince him not to break the curse. And he's like, you can't kill everyone out there unless you can't kill every last one of them unless you are unkillable.
Yep.
So the whole reason of him picking up the coins, comes apparent later on. But like in the moment, it comes off as like a boasting kind
Yeah,
of.
he comes off very very cynical.
Like he's still playing that notion of like, I have information that you don't have, and it's great.
And it's cool because Jack always has information that someone else doesn't have.
Yeah.
Especially because right here, he just gave Norrington, or not Norrington, sorry. He gave Barbosa everything, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But in return, he takes some more information that Barbosa does not know about,
Mhm.
which we see right here, which we'll try to keep spoiler free, but you can see it. We're going bit by bit. It's hard.
Cinematically, like the way they do it, and then I love the fact that they
Will-
cut directly to Will
Who
afterwards.
sees it?
Yeah.
Because it's at this moment, and you can watch his face. It's at this moment, like, because the first time that when he was talking to
He's
Jack,
more confused.
he was confused.
He was like, "Why are you doing this?"
But it's at this moment that he's starting to think, and then he puts the two and two together, and you can actually see it in the acting, which he does a great job.
yeah, I was about to say,
Great actor.
give it to Orlando Bloom. He does
Yes.
great in this movie.
So good,
Yeah.
so good. But you can see it in this scene, in this little bit that we're about to watch, him putting the different hints together and figuring out what Jack is perpetuating and what he's about to scheme and do. And I think that's so smart. And what I really like is the fact that Will is the only person who notices what Jack does in this moment.
Yep, it's
Mhm.
fantastic. And so Will looks, and then boom, suddenly, no coin to be seen.
Gone.
Slide a hand.
Like magic.
What a baller D&D rogue move. Be like, and just imagine sitting at that table, right? And it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, and I say every boom, and I drop a coin. Last boom, I drop another coin. One, boom, I drop another coin, and then I sleight of hand check, take one of the coins that's in my
Yeah.
hand. It's like roll a d20, nat 20. Nobody notices except for Will.
Not a single person. He also got a nat 20 on.
He also got a nat
perception.
20
Yeah.
perception check.
But no one else did. So it's just him.
It's just like, fuck. So Jack nicks it. He nicks a coin, and then Will picks on it. You see it because he like squints, and then boom, eyes widen. And he's like,
Yep.
You've been playing this from the beginning.
Yep.
Ever since you learned my name, playing it up. He's like, I can't believe, you betrayed me. Oh my God, what was me?
Now, when I was a kid, I thought that Will was genuinely upset with
Me too.
Jack.
Me
because
too.
in my head, because I saw Jack keep the coin, in my head, I think that Jack's personal motive at this point is that he wants to be immortal like Barbosa.
Mm.
That
Yeah.
he's seeing the curse as a way of getting out of a situation.
Right.
And it wasn't until later that I learned, or like later, and like watching and really paying attention to the beginning of the scene, that I realized, that at this point, Will already knows the plan.
Yep.
And at this point, it's just being dramatic to sell it to Barbosa.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like Will and Jack are on the same point from the moment he says the right opportunity.
It's like that movie, The Road to El Dorado,
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. good
where
movie.
like I think Tio and I don't know, but
Miguel and Tulio.
Tulio
And
yeah,
Tulio and Miguel, Mighty
and Tulio,
Mighty and Powerful Gods.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mighty and Powerful Gods. Whereas like they have like theatrical fights to distract people.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
Like,
yeah.
they're actually
You
playing
fight like
them.
your sister. I fought your sister. That's a compliment. Good movie. Underrated, honestly.
Great movie. I would like to do a video about
Yeah,
it.
we
You know,
should.
it would be
Yeah.
bad. And so Jack's just like, yeah, I did. And they're planning it up. And Barbosa says, I want 50% of your planners. So he's bought into the deal.
Right. Well,
Sort of.
I love the fact that, like, from a writing standpoint, I love the fact that Barbosa doesn't even consider, like, they put this little scrimmage between Jack and Will before Barbosa even considers the offer.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like Barbosa sees the tension between Jack and Will, and because they have hatched this plan, but they're on the same page, they execute it so well that Barbosa sees it for what they want him to see it, and it's like their plan is working.
Yep.
And it's great that you see it in real time in this scene, and then it's not revealed until later that it was planned.
It's absolutely fantastic.
But I love the fact that he waits until after he sees them have a bad blood between the two of them before he even accepts or thinks about
or even thinks about it, yeah. And so,
because you can see earlier in the scene he's studying Will.
yes,
and Jack
he's looking back and
because
forth.
he knows that they've worked together and they've been together and they've been working together, and obviously they've been on the same side before.
And they've been gunning after Barbosa.
Right. So he wasn't like Barbosa wasn't even convinced to trust Jack
So
and
what-
Clytus until Will.
What Barbosa's trying to figure out is, will Jack commit betrayal just so he can get the pearl?
Mm.
Is Jack willing to go that far? And this is enough for him to believe that, yes, Jack is willing to go far enough to betray someone he's worked with just so he can get this pearl.
Mm-hmm.
So he can get the black pearl, because he knows how Jack's hunted them for 10 years. He knows that he wants that thing.
Right.
Just some stupid blacksmith, execute him. He's like, okay, yeah, I can believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to believe it. And so they start bartering, and Barbosa's like, Jack's like 15, and Barbosa's like 40, and he goes 25. And I'll buy you the hat. a
A real
really
big
big one.
He actually like perked up a little bit at the hat thing.
Yeah, and he
Hey,
calls
guess
him
what? Bigger the
Commodore.
hat, better the feathers.
Yep.
Big hat energy.
Big hat energy. A sense of propriety, really.
A sense of propriety.
And so they both smile, and Barbosa's like, we have an accord. And so Jack says, all hands to the boats. Goes definitely quiet, and he's like, I'm so sorry. You give the orders. Because I feel like Jack is like, oh yes, I fucking won. Go do the thing that go run away so I can go forward with my plan. And he's like, oh yeah, that's right. You're supposed to be the boss.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
right. You're the Commodore. My bad.
Sorry, Commodore. My apologies.
To me, it almost feels like Jack is like almost backhanding him here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's like, in his mind, he's celebrating because at this point he knows that he has the upper hand in this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's almost like he's doing it on purpose. He's like, yeah, here's your title. I'm so sorry. Like, but in his mind, he's like, I've already won.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this has gone exactly the way I wanted it to go. Everything has fallen the way I wanted it to fall. I want to do this and then back up and be like, oh, sorry, I forgot. You're supposed to be in
You're
charge.
supposed to be in charge.
It
Yeah.
seems a little backhanded.
Yeah. And yeah. And he says, "Gents, take a walk," which I always thought was funny.
Such a good line.
Because Jack just looks at him confused. He's like, "Not to the boats," which no, not to the boats. They don't need boats except for those two. That dude's like, "Hey, remember all those clothes you dropped off earlier that were useless? Well, now you get to make them useful, bitch." And then the moon shines. Oh no, it's a full moon. And then we get the most epic fucking shot in pirate cinema. That just took away my window capture. With the music, bum, bum,
Yeah,
bum,
the music was so
bum,
good.
bum, bum. Like, it's so good.
I remember seeing this like in the trailers when the movie
Yes.
was coming out.
Yeah.
Everybody got amped when they saw this shit. They're
This
like,
was so good.
this right here is not your normal
That is
Disney cruise.
menacing.
That is terrifying. Like, you don't want to see that shit walking towards you, you know, in a nightmare. Like,
Mhm.
that is the opposite of what you're going to be looking for. So, yeah, they're all making good old steps, walking underneath the boat, which we know this is going to be the HMS Dauntless is what they're coming under. And they're obviously coming to slay. And what I like is that they include the fact that when they're underneath the boat, it brings them back out to normal.
Well, that just solidifies what we were talking about earlier with Bruce Bill. Like, if he's on the bottom of the ocean where there is no moonlight that can reach him, he's just in human form the entire time, slowly drowning and dying.
Yeah, but these guys aren't drowning and dying. They're slaying. They're girl bossing it up.
They're like, lungs? Who need those?
Who needs lungs? And it's so cool. It's such an interesting shot at the same time. Like, cinematically, the fact that they were able to get all these guys to look like they were walking underwater is super cool.
I think it's really funny.
And it holds
if you
up.
Go back to the scene. It works because it's all dark lit.
Yes.
But if
Oh,
you go,
definitely.
If you go back in like a couple seconds ago where they're walking underwater, you can clearly tell that like their facial hair and their normal hair is dry, and this is just green screened in, like the dreads and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially like their beards and facial hair, it just doesn't. It's not working like it would in the physics if it was underwater. You can tell that's like a fan blowing.
Yeah.
Right.
But like you need that in order to sell that as underwater, because
Yeah.
there would be no like less gravity and be moving. But like I just think it's kind of funny because you can, even though they have a water overlay, you can still tell clearly that they're just walking in front of a green screen. Not to say that it's not a good effect. Like back when this came out,
This sold it.
Yes,
really-
it was
especially
enough.
because like effects back then were so hard to do, you want to hide it in lower light so that it's a lot easier. It looks a lot more believable because there's less detail in low light.
Right. And I think still, even with, you know, today's technology and stuff, I still think that scene holds up to this day.
Oh yeah, all of these special effects in this movie hold up really well over time.
Still good.
Still good.
Still
Still
good.
good.
Somehow, after what, 20 years almost?
It's
feel
because
like
they
it's
did
closing in on-
exactly what they were
yeah.
supposed to with effects. And like, if you want something to look believable, put it in lower light.
Yeah.
That's why the dinosaur models for Jurassic Park in the original movie
True.
were done like
True.
mostly all the dinosaurs are seen at night, and that's because they looked more believable as their 3D models in the dark.
Yeah.
Hey,
Our
stop
cats are
it.
going ham. Uh-oh. And I this one's a bit weird because Norrington's like, oh, hold fire. It's obviously just a bunch of girls that are sailing away from Ile de Muerta in a small boat.
You know, they just got
honestly,
lost.
Yeah, honestly, it's like, oh, never mind. It's just some strumpets
There's some whores living on
who
their
just
walk
had-
of shame.
who just had a conjugal visit with those disgusting pirates. You can put the overlay back.
Well, you have to understand it's because he has a sense of propriety.
He has a sense of propriety, and he's not going to open fire on these whores.
Could you imagine whores who just like
I'm
row
gonna
around?
open fire on these whores. That's a Pimp Daddy Purple line if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. He's
I
like,
don't give a fuck. And then for some reason, somehow he knows this in history. He's like, it's
They
just
don't
like
know
what
how to read, but they
but
know
he knows
the traditional story of Troy.
he knows about the Trojan horse. It's probably
Oh,
because he bought the condoms, but still.
but, I mean, it's probably because Barbossa just told them a story or something. About
I'll
it.
tell you a story about the Trojan horse.
the Greeks.
There was a
done
horse,
that,
and the Greeks came out and killed all the people at the end.
The Greeks were not only great warriors, but beautiful philosophers. They knew that there was nothing gay about dominating the bussy and being on top.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't count if you are on top.
They kept.
And I like this because he's like, it's just like what they did in Troy, except they was in a horse instead of dresses. It's like, wow, way to make yourself feel great. The other dude's just not having it. And he's like, wooden horse.
Mm-hmm.
While the other dudes are doing their pirate thing, creeping up
Looks
on the
so
Dauntless.
good.
It does. It really does. It looks great.
You don't need to climb the rope if you're underwater. You can just swim up.
For real. They're
Well, it is
skeletons.
easier.
Listen, I love the last scene, but the more I think about it, the more confused I get because,
What, the monkey?
well, no, they're skeletons in the ocean. I mean, I feel like they would float.
That's fair.
Like their bones, like you said, especially the buoyancy of salt water.
I know that bones are very porous, but are they less dense than water?
I would be willing to.
No, because people dump bodies into the ocean like by the thousands each year.
Yeah, but that's usually with muscle still attached.
Right. Yeah. Like I'm wondering if they were complete skeletons, if they would just be buoyant.
Well,
enough
not
to
only
float
that, but
to
you
the
have to
top.
understand they're also wearing weapons.
Oh,
And-
that's true.
They also-
they are being weighed down by gear.
but not only that, but I'd also be willing to not subvert my expectations, but I'd be willing to believe in that. I could live with them being able to walk underwater.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
with-
whatever.
It's something I can live with.
It's such a minute detail, but I was thinking about it. I was like,
Yeah,
if
it's a fair
they're
question.
like, I'm imagining like if they're walking like underwater, and then like they walk into the moonlight, and suddenly they're just like,
This is what I.
they're like, oh god.
It's like D&D. I'm willing to accept rule of cool.
Yeah, rule
Right.
of cool, always the top tier of D&D.
Yep. And so now
You
we
should
have
always play with rule of cool.
now we have Elizabeth's dad coming to talk to her. Mega Chad coming over. He's like, Elizabeth, he's like, he's wanting to make sure that what she's doing is what she wants to do.
He
He's like-
truly relates to the youth of today.
Yes, truly. He's like, I just want to make sure, he's
What
like,
a
I'm very
supportive
happy.
dad.
I'm very happy about the decision that you've made. He's like, couldn't be more proud of you that you decided to marry a man of propriety. But even a good decision, if made for the wrong decisions or wrong reasons, could be a wrong decision.
He's like, listen, no one's more excited to see this marriage come through than me. My grandkids.
I worked at it for 10 years.
Worked at it. My grandkids are going to be well taken care of. They're going to have the father of their father is going to be like a highly ranked military officer. But your happiness is still more important.
Which is honestly very, very
He's
new.
such a good guy.
I was
He's
gonna
a
say
good guy.
it's
He's
very
He's such a good dad.
it's very progressive for the 1700s.
Mhm.
It's like, look, your happiness matters more to me
I mean-
than who you marry, which is a big statement back
Honestly,
then.
like
that's
a
the
lot
thing,
of the
okay.
things that he says are like really great and really like forward for its time.
Yes.
But like it also gets offset by the fact that everyone treats him like a fucking idiot.
Well, that's
I
the
don't get
thing.
it.
Is, okay,
I'm
here's
like,
the thing.
what?
It's not the thing. Is like, is he foolish at times because he cares about his daughter's happiness?
That
Because
seems like how that's
that's
like
just
how
how
they want to portray
they
it.
want to betray him because that's just sort of how society treats him. But you have to remember that's his only daughter,
Yeah.
and he is all she has.
Yeah.
Right.
So they were just alone
Together.
with no wife or mother in the house. So they had nothing but each other for
Yeah.
Yeah.
for all of her life, as far as we know.
And honestly, like the amount of support and respect that he gives her on like
Oh my gosh.
at any given scene.
He is a true Chad.
Like honestly, that's why he's Mega Chad.
Yeah.
Mega
He's
Chad.
got that he's a gamma Chad.
He's a gamma Chad. Oh yeah.
Keeping that meme alive.
He's like, he's taking pride in his failures. Exactly.
Like
'Cause he's just
Elizabeth.
like, yeah, he's taking pride in his failures. I take pride in that I failed to marry off my daughter.
Fantastic. But the guys come in and they're about to do some killing. Uh-oh, spaghetti. And then
Do
they
Could you
Solid
imagine
snake
being
shit.
on watch?
yeah, they do some solid snake stuff. They hide in the
Yeah.
cardboard box.
Yeah.
This guy. He
Oh.
doesn't look like the rest of them.
What, Gillette or that guy? The guy on the
That guy.
right? I don't know.
He looks like a normal sailor, and everyone
does.
else looks like they're in uniform. I
That's
wonder
fair.
if he's like a navigator or something.
It's possible. He could be a quartermaster or something like that. And there's a lot of people for them not to be paying attention.
Honestly, the fact that no one decided to just look up or to their right is baffling. Okay.
Skeletons are very quiet.
Maybe I feel like they wouldn't be. But you know what? I feel like, it's in the dead of night. They're hidden under the guile of darkness.
It's soaked rubber boots.
Are they? Because they're literally skeletons because they're witnessed in moonlight. So they can't be hiding in darkness or they wouldn't be skeletons.
They're
Jace,
literally
you got a point
they're
there.
literally they're quite
Like, they're literally out in the open
They
in the light of
They
the moon.
They actually, I take that back. They could not be more obvious right now.
they are actually bone white. Like,
For real.
Yeah.
you can't hide that fact.
Yeah, it's like,
Also, do you know that our bones are pink?
Whoa.
Yeah, crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and it's only like until later, until like
the cells sort of like
Mhm.
dust off.
like if you were to
Okay.
cut my arm right now, the bone would look more pink than white.
Mm,
Pretty
Okay.
crazy. Just thought we should know that.
good to know.
Like-
So
Anyways,
what's his
back
face?
to
He's like
Nick Chad.
He's like Elizabeth. He's like, are you even there listening to me?
Of course not.
Yeah, he's like, are you even listening to me? Opens the door and then she has made a rope to escape and is
How'd
riding
she
off
get
on a
that
rope.
boat? That's what I want to know.
It should-
That boat was not there.
That's true. It wasn't in the back, so that's a good question.
There's no way that boat could be put in the back. There's no lowering mechanism.
That's true.
I love how they just come up there and start murking everybody.
Oh man,
Yeah.
quiet, super quiet.
They're all just passing these stealth rolls. These guards must have rolled really shitty on perception.
Oh, definitely.
Barbosa casted pass
Pass without a trace.
Gave him a +10
Yep.
stealth checks.
Yep. That's why they can't be seen in the moonlight.
Yeah.
Man, this is why we need to start back up our D&D stuff.
I would love to.
D&D and movie reviews.
That yeah. Action Bros Gaming now with 0 gaming.
Hey, D&D's gaming.
Fair.
It's
Yeah.
board gaming. And
Oh
then,
my god.
this was
Dude,
a big
you're
What a
lucky.
terrible shot.
right? What a like fit of luck that is. That is definitely contrived where it's like, boom, fire shot, boom, goes over, it just hits the hat. I know it's a thing that's in a lot of westerns where the shot knocks off the hat, but it's like, come on.
I'm willing to accept it because those were smooth
Smooth bore?
smooth bore barrels. So the rifling was not super accurate.
Right.
As a matter of fact, he's lucky that he even hit the hat.
Right. Honestly. What a great shot. From that distance, too.
Oh, fantastic
And that
shot.
was with a handheld firearm.
Yeah, that's normally the distance you would use a flintlock at. And I like the little battle that he has because he's looking at. He's like, "Oh, this is bad. That man is being stabbed to death. I want to hide now."
How did he hear him if he doesn't have ears?
It's a fair question.
It's part of the curse.
Let's see. And with this, we're at 33 minutes. You guys want to keep going or?
Honestly, it's like
It's 1:21 in the morning.
it's 1:21 in the morning. We have how much time have we begun?
Yeah.
How did we stretch 10 minutes? It's because you're fucking here, dude.
I get on tangents.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, it's been great. It's been a good episode.
God bless your autism, Jace.
Everyone's autistic in Riley's eyes.
I love it. If Riley likes you, he makes you autistic.
Yes.
He
I'm
just
like-
decides that you are autistic.
I'm like J.K. Rowling. I can give people autism retroactively.
That's how you know if Riley truly sees you as a friend.
She and I need to team up together so we can make the whole world gay and autistic.
Oh man.
All right, so I mean, I'm down if we take it to a vote.
About autism?
No.
No, yes, let's vote Jason for the autism.
Yeah. Woo!
You're now part of the council.
You're now part of the council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
The rank of Master Aspie.
We recognize you as disabled. We do not rank you the rank of autistic.
I feel like when did the credits roll? The credits roll at 2:13. see.
20-ish more minutes.
So yeah, 20 minutes. We could cover
So,
that in one more video.
Honestly,
One
like,
more video, guys.
One more video.
One more video.
One more. We got this.
We don't care if it's 4 hours
secretly
long.
like 10 more. We're gonna be like Attack on Titan. We're gonna stretch our final season out for like 6 more seasons.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Oh,
But we
God.
got one more episode, and then we'll wrap up Pirates of the Caribbean.
You know what? I mean, as soon as we wrap this up, I do want to go and make like a 10-minute, like little short video, just sort
Sure.
of talking
Sure.
about like and ranting about stuff.
Sure, that'd be fine. That'd
Yeah.
be fun.
Just to give the channel a little more content
Hell yeah, that'd be fantastic.
for like another weekend.
content.
Just
I
save
would,
it
I would,
for,
yeah. I'll
save
save it for a rainy day.
yeah, save it for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Because Jace is here now.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
this is a topic that
Fuck you guys.
I want to. This is a topic that I want to talk about with him in the room.
Fascinating.
dope.
All right. Well, with that, we'll start working on that. We will see y'all guys later. So take care. See y'all next week, and we will finish off Pirates of the Caribbean. So stay tuned and have a sense of propriety.
Jace, say it with me. I hate you.
I hate you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh
I
man.
fucking hate this channel.